Hey, what's up? Good morning. It's Matt Duffy here. Welcome to my channel. We're on our way to check out one of the best sourdough bakeries in Dublin. It's called Bread 41. So whenever I'm traveling to a new place, I always like to check out the local bakeries. It gives you a good sense of seasonality as well, because often bakeries try to bake with the best local produce. So we're gonna see what they got. I already connected with the baker. We're gonna get a little behind the scenes tour. We're gonna see what's cooking. You know, one of my favorite things to do when I visit a new city is I always try to go to farmers markets and bakeries. I think it's really the best way to get a sense of place, to find out what time of year it is, what's happening, what are people buying, what are people eating. You can generally find a lot of sort of like, you know, customary things that people like to enjoy. So let's go check it out. We're gonna get a little behind the scenes tour. We're gonna see what's good at Bread 41. And check it out, beautiful Dublin. Here we go once again. Got a nice little lineup for this early in the morning. Obviously they are making some beautiful stuff here. Can get a little sneak peek through the window. Got some beautiful boules on there, a couple batards, croissants are looking banging. Oh, there's a little wood oven there. Can't wait to check this out inside. Let's go.
How's it going? Welcome to Dublin, Ireland, Bread 41. Happy to have you here. Come on inside, we'll show you around.
So this is Eoin. He's the owner and head baker.
Well, a baker now, I'm working on the business.
Well, that's what happens when you're the owner. When you're the owner, you're not the head baker anymore, are you?
You're like a paper worker.
Can you just give the little intro again about everything being sourdough?
So it's Dublin based, we're in the city centre, so everything we do is naturally fermented. We don't use any fresh yeast, so we make about anywhere from 2,500 to 4,000 hand rolled pastries a day. We make anywhere from 7 to 2,000 loaves of sourdough a day, so it's really good. Got a team of 28 people though, so it's the team. It's the team. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. I love that wrap.
But it's funny because so when I opened up Bread 41, it was the idea of opening up a bakery and bring a community of people who are interested in bread together to make bread, and it just organically grew to what it is today. Like we still do everything by hand. We like mix, we shape, we portion, so the idea was not to lose touch of it. We didn't want to go commercial. So we're like, but the space just grew, we just grew into it, kept the team going. So this is only for croissants.
Is this chilled?
No, it's cool enough.
Separate.
Yeah, it's just separate. Yeah, this is the girls' room, attendants. They rule the roost in here, so it's great. Everything we do, as we say,
So you said all the viennoise is naturally leavened as well?
Yeah, so we don't. We actually find it easier. We find it easier. We find when we went to making everything the naturally leavened method, it was easier to control. Gave us longer time. We sort of mix, bulk ferment for 24 hours, then we process, then we re-chill for 16 hours. But then we the starter. So it's technically 4 days from your starter to baking. But it's good, and we got a good thing. We've recently just taken all our pastry down by 12% of sugar as well, and let the fermentation speak a bit more, you know. So I'm trying to actually get away. The future for 41 is to try and move towards alternative sugar and alternative grain.
You're not
You know,
stuck in tradition.
it's the
You know what,
generation.
it's probably another benefit of being in Ireland. When you
Yeah.
look at certain countries like Italy and France.
Well, if
they
this was
can't-
France, I wouldn't be allowed to open a bakery.
Yeah, they can't get out of their like little box. It's the same with cooking.
Yeah, and it's super simple. Couple of trolley rack ovens.
This
Helped.
brand.
Yeah, this helped our pastry though. So like I think it's like you make them, you go naturally to the van, like you look at all the things that stops it being perfect, and sometimes you need a bit of good kit. Like you need an oven that's sharp, it's gonna bake real well. Liquid starter for our breads, and we just make a stiffer starter for the croissants. So for the croissants, the dough is just a lot stiffer.
Are you doing any sugar in the levain for the croissant?
Nope, it goes in the dough, doesn't go in the levain. No.
And then what about as far as the refreshments on the stiff starter?
Yeah, every 12 hours. Every 12 hours, we do like for like.
So
Yeah.
you do develop some good acidity in the.
Yeah, and our levain lives in the fridge, so we never ever. Where before, a place I'd done before was like you take out for 3 hours, 4 hours. We just built it to stay in the fridge and keep in the fridge, so we can control the temperature.
Goes in the fridge?
Stays in the fridge.
Oh, I gotta come back to
Yeah.
in the morning.
Yeah. No, definitely we don't. So we don't do any. I think it was, but it took us. Honestly, me and Ruth, because when we came, I trained Ruth as a baker when we opened here. We took 6 months before we can get a decent loaf of bread out. When we were trying to go right, we have to build now. Look at the longer, bigger picture, and how can we control it if it goes really big? Let's just keep your levain in the fridge, and consistency all year round. You get like Ireland, you know,
Right.
bakeries. They're hot as it is.
Yep.
So in the summer they double in heat. You know. Who do you think? Doesn't Campbell do everything for everyone?
Yeah, I'm trying to get him to send me one of those ovens.
Oh, but he said to me something about like there wouldn't be. Is it?
It's not sourdough, but
Yeah.
he actually asked me like, can we go sourdough?
So we got this. We originally, when I opened the bakery, I wanted to have.
New American Stone Mill, my favorite.
It's a good one.
And we are now. Oh, it doesn't even have a number. This might be older than ours.
This was the first in Europe, I do believe.
Okay.
I think there might have been one in Prague.
All right.
Having the thing is getting bakers in and letting them grow in the business, you know, letting them understand how you mill, understand what grain is. And we're growing grain in Monaghan, so like sort of close to the north of Ireland. So having organic grain coming down to Dublin, milling in Dublin, going straight to a loaf and coming out. And then understanding flavour profiles, why we don't need to add anything to taste fermentation.
So what are you actually using for grains here then?
I'm trying to find some grain now because with the motor gone, we're a little bit disorganised. So at the moment we're milling some just
I'm
wheat.
familiar with Shipton Mill. I saw a name here.
Shipton's good. Like it's they have a great consistent. The biggest issue in Ireland is it's organic grain. We don't have a solid supply of organic grain. So we do look towards the UK. Shipton Mill in terms of organic are like AAA rated. Really good.
Very good,
It's
yeah.
very good, very consistent. You won't get the winter wheat, the spring wheat. You know, they have a real consistent product. So at the scale we're at now, we needed something consistent. As I said, we are test plotting grain in Ireland, and the future is, fingers crossed, in 3 to 5 years, all our grain will come local.
Wow.
We do use small amounts of local, like we've the lads in Monaghan sending us up, but it's a lot of sampling, testing, seeing like how we grow it, how
It's
you do
hard
it.
to be consistent with that when you're
Well,
doing
put it this
small
way, like
samples,
there's only 1.8% of farms in Ireland are organic. So when you're a certified organic baker, you're working with a very small mix of people. We produce a ton of oats here. So it's letting farmers understand that you can come back and grow wheat and you can make money on it. Like, you know, at the end of the day, the farmer's got to get paid. I think a lot of people, you know, don't forget that. So we have some grain. This is just wheat. This is the wheat. And then we have some rye.
Oh, my favorite rye.
Yeah. Some rye, yeah.
Oh yeah.
But real nice. And as you know yourself from the mill, you're using fresh is best. It's
Fresh is best. It makes
Yeah.
a difference, does it? So what are your thoughts on fresh flour? Like, why do you choose to use it? What do you notice in the bread?
Well, I
Does it
think
change?
initially with the fresh flour and putting the mill in was actually, being honest, as looking at 41 when we grew bread 41 to sort of grew organically, and it was I need to get bakers to come here and I need them want to stay here. You get it's a sort of flippant industry, like no different than chef. People come for 6 months and they want to
Yeah.
leave. And so it's like the education's here. We can teach it and we can learn as a
grow
team.
within the company.
Yeah, grow in the company, and that was how it started. Now we're understanding the nutritional benefits, like if we and then the fun behind it. You know yourself, you take freshly milled stick it through a mixer. The bread is difficult, and I
Totally.
think that's with bread. But I think that's it. When we go back and we look towards food, and it's this big cycle we go on, we look for things quicker instead of looking at things the way we were doing it for years. And like same with the grain, we should be still growing grain. Ireland's a fabulous country. We have beautiful green grass, but little organic grain.
Great dairy.
Yeah, great dairy, super dairy, you know, and like we have, the dairy is unbelievable we use, you know. The butter's the freshest ever, the cheeses are amazing. Like, honestly, not because I'm Irish, I think we're giving the old French there a kick for the cheese at the moment. It's a bold statement, but it is. No, the cheese and all is fabulous, it really is. And we're understanding more, we're going back definitely to the roots of food and going like, and I've said this for years, like we're up there, even the cooking, the ability to change, and I think that's with food, we're always changing, you know, and especially when you work in a restaurant or a bakery that works seasonally. That's like here, seasonally is super important. We only get in, like strawberries will come now, they'll leave, tomatoes are in, we have some tomatoes and zucchinis or courgettes, depending on where you're from, what you want to call it, but it comes, what grows together goes together, and it's massive, you know?
When I did the intro for this video, I started walking down the street and I said, we're gonna go check out this bakery. And one of my favorite things about visiting a new city is going to a farmer's market and a bakery.
Yes.
Because if you go to a proper bakery like this, it gives you a sense of time, of year and place and seasonality. Because the products that are in the window are, depending on where you go, but usually, you know, obviously
they represent where they are being made.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, it's summer, but summer in Ireland is different than summer in Canada, so the products are a little different. You know, like our strawberries are pretty much done by now.
Yeah.
But we're much hotter than it is here,
Yeah.
so like it really sort of helps.
Like
you
we're only coming to
understand-
tomatoes now. Like we're only coming to tomatoes now.
We're
Tomatoes are
just
early.
starting.
Yeah, tomatoes are a little bit early, and actually we do this, like we have this barter system, so it's like a fruit system where I think everyone has apple trees, especially in Ireland, and the apples grow, they look beautiful, they fall, they can boss, no one uses them, so we have this barter system where bring your fruit, we'll swap your bread. And it starts now with apples, and the fresh fruit will get in will be unbelievable. And then once the apples are gone, they're gone. So we're waiting next year to come back around. So it is, yeah, it's very true. I suppose this year definitely apples are up now, because we got a message last week saying that off an orchard that a lady has, and we just go out and pick all the apples as we need them and use them in the bakery, and it's really good.
Beautiful.
Yes, it's about the team. Everything you do is about the team. It's about the people you surround yourself with. It's about a group, and I think the work-life balance we have here in 41 is no one works over more than 40 hours a week.
Beautiful.
Nobody, and we don't accept it. You know, it's not on. And you pay people for what they do, and there's a great, like, I would hate to say it, but we probably pay one of the best in Dublin payers here, because they all work hard. And
Careful what you say, you're going to get a bunch of resumes.
Yeah, I'm always on the resume thing, but no, it's true, you know, it's like, listen, the industry has to change, and it's a worldwide problem. That's what gets me.
It's a worldwide problem,
It's not
yeah.
just an Irish thing. Chefs, you look chef,
I work in a restaurant.
and that's the initial, get it off the ground, and then you surround yourself with brilliant, and letting go the vine, you know, letting other people come in and make their bread. Like you come in today, look at the breads, they might be our recipes, but you know, we have Emily in there, you know, developing those recipes and putting her own little twists in them. So it's like really great bread that the team created, really great pastry that the team created. You know, it's not me, you know.
Right.
Like the more knowledge we share, I think with sourdough bakeries and artisan bakeries, it's like knowledge has to be shared. We all have to learn off each other, and then it's sort of the smaller bakeries against the big guys, against the big industrial loaf. Like we don't need the industrial pan, and it needs us. We don't need it, you know. Definitely. So support them small bakeries. This will be like an eatery, sort of like pickles, ferments.
So this has not been opened at all?
No,
yet?
this was an office, and then we just got like, so everything will just be pickles, ferments.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, so like all our pickles, ferments on here. This wall here, a couple of seats. So the idea was when we got the spaces grown into it. Yeah, so it's like a 44 seater. It's really smart. And again, it's the food thing will be simple. Like this is really weird, probably more than ever. This is going to be 80% vegetarian. Probably looking at what's going on with the red alert, the climate at the moment, to try to push towards better meat, which we've always used. We only use organic, and maybe less olive. So it's 80% vegetarian, but like strong pickles, strong ferments, bread on everything. So my background, my background was like everyone. I actually grew up in a bakery, funny enough. My nana was a baker. I was probably all around apple tarts, apple pies at the time more than anything. And then it was like through that, then I went to school pretty much. In school, wasn't really great at school, struggled massively through education, became a carpenter, left school, did 4 years training to be a carpenter, and went traveling and just fell in love with food. Made the decision only actually now, 9 years ago, to actually get out of it. Came back in the recession in Ireland, which was 2010, bad snow, and I was cooking abroad. So I was like in Australia, and I was actually in a cafe polishing a concrete floor, and the dude came in, he was due to open, said, "Can anyone cook?" And I said, I can fry eggs. And he goes, do you want to start? And I was like, yeah. Started the following morning, never ever went back to the building or carpentry. And then from that, fell in love with bread. So came back here, looked at where I can like properly just educate myself more, like and get like-minded people. So I went to a school in Cork called Ballymadoo Cookery School.
Yeah,
so
I know, it's famous.
Super decent.
I'd love to visit there one day.
Yeah, it's super. Like and the thing about them is they're just passionate about food, and it's local, seasonal. You're working a farm, so you're on an organic farm. You're understanding like, again, pieces how much food matters. Like if you knew how to grow a carrot or had to grow a carrot, you wouldn't top and tail it. You know what I mean? You understand it's a whole product concept. Started making bread there, got really into bread, and it was funny because I was just going back to my roots about growing up around someone who baked all the time, and just gave my time to bread.
It's a total addiction, isn't it? Like once you start to learn a little bit more and a little bit more. It's like it's really hard to turn back from that bread world.
And I think the addiction comes with bread. I think bread is like different. As like I cooked for a good while as well. So when you're cooking, if you make a mess of a dish, you can fix a dish.
Yep.
If you make a mess with bread, you're done. So like, and it's never the same.
Especially when you're in a business.
Especially when you're pushing out loaves. And think about sourdough as well. Like it depends. It matters in so much to us. Like how's your starter being fed? What flour are you using? Where's it fall? How is it milled? Is it this? Is that? And like that's the addiction. Because it's like no matter how many loaves of bread you make, or you make this 1,000, or you make a couple of 110, they're always different, and it's always difficult to get that result. And that's the addiction. Because you pull that loaf out of bread and you squeeze it, and it's crunchy, and you go yes. And the following day you go, oh, why isn't that one right? Yeah, and is that a hot spot, a cold spot? Yeah. And that's why we do it. Like if I just put sours in the oven every day and they come out perfect every day, you lose the fun of it.
When I was trying to learn panettone, I have a very good friend and mentor. I worked with him as well. I took my family over there. Michael Schultz, he's a baker in Freiburg, Germany. Phenomenal baker, best baker I've ever worked with, just amazing. And so like he's my kind of go-to for questions. And I remember I was really struggling with panettone and really frustrated, and he would let me fail. Like he knew the answer, but he wouldn't sort of tell me, and that was frustrating to me. But then after, when I finally figured out, he said like it's a never-ending journey. Like you're trying to go to a destination that doesn't exist. Like you just need to continue on, because maybe one day they're going to be great and another day they're not as good, but you need to understand why to really progress. And I was kind of like, that's such a good way of looking at it, because it is a never-ending journey. Like you can never learn it all. You're never, like you said, you're never pulling perfect loaves out every day. There's always the weather, the flour, even the same grain from season to season is going to change, or from harvest to harvest.
And how you adjust, and I think that's the way while you try bring. You can never commercialize real bread. I feel like you can make a lot of loaves, you can punch it out, but you'll always get that one or two that hasn't popped right, that's different. And again, hot, cold spots, and then how it's mixing, and then the person behind that, you know, the baker, does that need more water? Can it take more water? How push, like, how do you make it keep, like, we unfortunately have this thing as we think bread should last in the press for like a week, 10 days, and I understand it doesn't, you know. It's fresh today, toast tomorrow. And also if you get a really decent loaf of bread, definitely in my house and most houses I feel, is that it's gone. It comes in, it's gone. And so we shouldn't have to buy 10 loaves of bread to do this for 10 days. And it's the same concept with food, you know, the butcher, the baker, the beer maker. Going in, asking the question, where's that cut of meat from? Where are them vegetables grown? Where's the bread baked? Is the baker there? And being able to say, and I definitely here, I could have opened the bakery in an industrial unit away from everyone, but I opened it here because if someone comes in and goes, I had your bread today, I didn't like it. And I can go, oh, what didn't you like? And they're like, well, there was a seed that I didn't like. And I'm like, okay, so, or it was too sour, or the bottom was burnt, but it keeps you straight, keeps you on the line. Having someone that can come to you, see you face to face and critique you.
And seeing the customers day to day,
and then also bringing them on
more sense of pride in your work too.
Yeah, it's so intense. So it can be about you all the time, or your team, or it can be about everybody, and bringing people on the journey with you. For me, is super important. And for me, especially with having the eatery, people are like, why open an eatery? I'm like back there, someone look, and I walk by a table and I can see with the expression on their face two things: whether they like it or don't like it, or whether they bite that bread, it's crusty, whether it's bread and fermented like a butter, or it has a nice pickle on it, they eat it, and that the moment of enjoyment, that's the addiction. Same as a chef. Good colour. Yeah.
Oh,